So he goes on to say that it is worth taking a moment to reflect on just how much hangs on the question of God's existence. So why is this an important question? So, if God, creates the universe, speeds it up, gets it to where it's at, so okay, that's good. I'm moving on to my second home. I'll check back with it in 32 billion years, and we'll see how it transcends. So the universe we inhabit would be much the same whether or not some things exist. So not so with God. If God exists, that affects everything simply because of who God is.
Yeah. So basically, and he uses an illustration here about the Yeti,
right? Yeah.
Which is kind of a mythical beast that walks on two legs and has white fur, I think. And I mean, it's almost like the Bigfoot. Yeah.
Well, in Monsters Inc., he's a monster banished to the Arctic. So, now you know what the Yeti is. So if the Yeti exists, the fact that it exists, that's interesting. But what is it? We can kind of study it. But has it psychologically affected your mindset for
what kind of influence would that have or effect on the universe, as a whole? Probably not a whole lot, right?
Does the understanding that the Yeti exists also affect that Mars had a climate at one time? Maybe the Yeti escaped from Mars or something like that.
So he's probably back there, and that's why we can't. Oh, you solved the problem of the Yeti. Yep. All right. Write that one up, and we'll publish it.
We need Elon Musk to come prove our Yeti
That's
theory.
Right.
We'll be paid in Dogecoin. The universe we inhabit would be much the same. And so if we found out that God exists, well, everything else depends for its existence and nature on God.
Right.
So again,
it's a different kind of situation, right? God versus the Yeti. Okay, fine. Yeah. If the Yeti exists or not, that's really, not that big a deal. But if God, exists, now we're into a whole different kind of issue, right? It's a huge issue. Right. It's an impactful issue, right?
So think about it like aliens. If aliens came and landed on, the White House lawn is too overused. If it landed in 1060 West Aston in Wrigley Field or whatever it's called now, that would be an impactful understanding of our place in the universe. So if we learn that God exists, there are big implications from that. Right. You might not like him, you might not agree with him, and he might have explanations for why you don't agree with him or like him. But it would be revolutionary within the scope of everyone's mind if we all of a sudden were fully aware of the existence of God. So if God exists, everything else depends for its existence and nature on God. So God is the creator, and so it exists because he exists, and it has its nature because he gave it that nature.
Right.
If God exists, the ultimate reality is personal and rational and moral in nature. So it's personal, rational, and moral.